Hi friends, today we discuss इकोनॉमिक सर्वे वॉल्यूम 2 फॉर मेंस 2017 के लिए 18 के लिए स्पेशली प्रीलिम्स और मेंस के लिए। ठीक है, तो डिस्कस कर रहे हैं। तो देखिए जीएसटी मैक्रो मिसकंसेप्शन एंड रियलिटी। ओके, मिसकंसेप्शन एंड रियलिटी। Misconception one increase complexity of tax structure. Okay, it is inaccurate to suggest that GST is more complicated than the system is replaced for two related reasons. Okay, it is inaccurate that inaccurate to suggest that the GST is more complicated system is replaced for two related reasons. Okay, so previously every goods and faced an excise tax. Previously every goods faced करते थे excise tax levied by the center and the states and a state VAT. There were at least 8 to 10 rates. Okay, there are at least 8 to 10 rates, 10 rates of excise and 3 to 4 rates of state VAT. Okay, so the later potentially different across the states. So a structure of the multiple rates has been reduced to a structure of the 6 rates. Uniformity of the principle of uniformity of the principle of one good services. The services provided services previously seen, since the reality the center imposed the service tax. Okay, agents that to register with. Okay, and hence it files to only one authority. Now agents will have to register in all states that they operate in all file in each of them. The increased compliance requirements with the faced only by a small number of agents with the plan India presence whose ability to comply with the commensurately grant greater going forward. There is scope for more centralized procedures to minimize the compliance hardened. Small traders much will have been made of additional compliance burden on small traders or agents. This overlooks some important chances. Okay, uniform of the principles of one good one tax all over the India is now reality. Previously, different states could impose different taxes. Okay, on the any given product, and this could be different from the levied by the center. So relative to the post, there is now uniformity rather than municipality, multiplicity, as well as considerably less complexity. Misconception to goods, additional compliance. Okay, goods. It is true that there will be additional document. It is true that there is additional document requirements of all those who are now part of the GST net. Okay, but the fulfilling requirements will comprise filling one set of forms per month, not 3 as has been alleged. Because filling the first automatically fills the two others. This will not be an additional burden because similar sometimes more one rouse requirements existed under the previous state VAT and central excise regimes. Okay, यहाँ पर हमने सर्विस डिस्कस कर रहे थे सर्विस के लिए. Small traders much has been made additional compliance to the burden of small traders and agents. Thus overlooks the some important chances. Okay, the overlooks some of the important but changes in the other direction. Okay, the GST has significantly raised turnover thresholds for inclusion of all the tax net as a result out of the 87th lakh agents that were previously in the tax net. Okay, states VAT, central excise and several service tax. About 70 lakhs remains in the GST net. A significant number of small traders with turnover less than 20 lakh may have opted out key benefits of the GST. Furthering cooperative federalism, nearly all domestic indirect tax decisions to be taken jointly by the center and states. Reducing corruption and leakages, self-policing, key benefits of the GST. So reducing corruption and leakages, self-policing, claim import tax credit will deter non-compliance and foster compliance. Previously, invoice matching last existed only the interstate VAT transactions for exercise and services tax, not for important. Simplifying complex tax structure and unifying tax rates across the country. 8 to 10 central excise duty times 3 to 4 state VAT rates itself applied for differential across the states to be consolidated into the GST 6 rates. Additional applied uniformly across the states. One good one Indian tax, other taxes and services of the states and the centers are subsumed in the GST. Creating a common market will eliminate the most physical restriction and all taxes or interstate trade, furthering Make in India Act by eliminating bias or in favor of imports. Negative production will make more effective and less leaky the domestic tax levied imports integrated IGST previously the sum of the countervailing duty and special additional duty, which will make domestic goods more competitive, eliminating tax bias against manufacturing, reducing consumer tax burden by recruiting breaks in the supply chain, the allowing easier flow to input tax credits. GST will substantially eliminate cascading, paying taxes at each stage of the value added and taxes at all previous stages, such as the central sales tax, boosting revenue, investment, and medium-term economic growth. Investment will be stimulated because scope of the input tax credit for capital purchase will increase. Tax base will expand through better compliance. Embedded taxes in exports will be neutralized. Hidden benefits of GST. Textile and clothing sector is now fully part of the tax net. Textile and clothing sector is now fully part of the tax net. Previously, some of the value chain, especially fibers, fabrics, outside the net tax, leading to information and evasion. Some anomalous favoring imports, some anomalous favoring imports and favoring ones of our domestic products will need to be rectified, but overall the tax base has expanded. One segment of land and real estate transactions has been brought into the tax net. Work contracts, referring the house that is being built, is now under the tax net. This turn would allow the greater transparency and formalizing of cement, steel, and other sales, which tended to be outside the tax net. The formalization will occur because builders will need documentation of this input for purchase to claim tax credit. It will rectify the inadequacy of the previous system. The GST will ratify the inadequacy of the previous system of domestic taxes levied on the imports, the countervailing duty to offset the excise tax and excise tax and special additional duty, okay, to offset the state VAT. Topic 2, farm loan waivers macroeconomic impact. Okay, farm loan waiver and macroeconomic impact. Recently, an announcement of our promises of farm loan waivers have been made in some of farm, like by Uttar Pradesh, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Punjab, Tamil Nadu. The Supreme Court of India has stated the decision of the Madras High Court to provide loan waivers, okay, to all farmers instead only to small and marginal farmers. There is a possibility of the century contagious spread to other states. This is in contrast to the previous episode, the 2007 and 2008, when the farm loan waivers were awarded India aid by the center. Arguments in favor. Opponents have seen the waivers as means of helping farmers who have been subject to stress from the successive shocks of agriculture 2 years. Inadequate rain followed by the year's large price declines. Argument against. Please wait. I'll drink water. health condition now is good, now is bad. Okay, so I try again. Okay, because I daily also cover all the topics. So far it will be very stressful and uh, very hardworking ability is really important. So far it will be sometimes bad, but okay, we will not. Let's start. Okay. The argument against these waivers will have long term impact in culture, loan repayment, okay, repayment and induced moral hazards waiver, okay. There, they have favored the who have borrowed from the formal sources relative to those who have borrowed. Some have the suggest that there is more efficient and targeted strength of helping farmers. Macroeconomic impacts at the most basic farm loan waiver simply transfer liabilities and from private sector to public sector balance sheet. The impact on aggregate demand will then demand on which sector has greater prosperity to consume of the wealth. Of course, state don't actually have a propensity to consume out of wealth, but there is a link between the two because their spending is influenced by their need to respect their fiscal responsibility legislation target. So they assume high debt. They will in many cases need to cut other spending or increase taxes. Once these spending changes take place, there will be second round effects. The waivers will have four effects on aggregate demand. Okay, four effects: private consumption, impact that is increases in private sector net wealth, private sector impact that is changes in government expenditure, ये पर हमने डिस्कस कर लिया था मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक इम्पैक्ट जो हो रहा है. तो उसके बाद क्राउडिंग आउट इम्पैक्ट that is higher borrowing by the state government, crowding impact that is higher credit availability as bank NPA fall. He is associated with the farm loan waiver. What explains the sudden demand for loan waivers? It is possible that farm stress has actually intensified when weather conditions are the best they have been in years. This was difficulty in measuring agrarian stress. वहाँ पर क्या लिखा है? Agriculture agrarian stress is difficult to measure objectively. The manufacturing manifestation of easy to see demands for loan relief, for restiveness in a number of states, but it is difficult to disentangle their political ठीक है. For example, the widespread demand of the loan waivers for loan users. इसको यहाँ को discuss करना है. For lenders could simply with demonstration effect from the UP loan waiver. Nevertheless, since we promote economic causes for stress referred to in lower prices and lower farm revenues, broad patterns on agrarian distress. Falling prices does seem to decline the real farm revenue in agriculture year June 2017. This year real revenue declined in case of 30%, at least in case of the potatoes. Moongs में 30%, potatoes में 4%, and Arthur are moving, posting declines around 10 to 28% respectively. The price of onion, tomato spending started rising recently. Regional variations. Uttar Pradesh have done reasonably well in the crops. Okay. Of including wheat, potato. In the case of wheat, there are a substantial increase in procurement reflected in the decline in the magnitudes sold at prices below MSP. In contrast, Madhya Pradesh, which had recently been favoring wheat, saw on increasing the amount of sap at prices below MSP. Increased supply led to the large decline in prices. The fajal is why he introduced prices so much that depressed farmers revenues. Two possible explanation suggest themselves. Outlets for farmers were narrow on account of the stock limits. One wholesaler and retailers, and there were restrictions on exports, whereas imports were more liberal, and some commodities. Theory may be somewhere. Moral factors increased MSP with the promises with the government of the more effective procurement. इसके बाद देखेंगे हमने टॉपिक 3 में इम्पैक्ट ऑन फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन. द लॉन्च ऑफ प्रधानमंत्री जन धन योजना August 2014 committed India to an ambiguous agenda of financial inclusion mission mode. As the initiative approaches the close and its third year, it is appropriate to assess its impact in terms of identify key takeaways and to look at the way ahead. Impact: basic saving bank deposit account accounts, basic saving bank accounts being the basic saving accounts products introduced specifically for unbanked person. The growth in this account is a key parameter for assessing growth of financial inclusion. Prior to the launch of Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, space introduction of BSBD, basic saving bank deposit accounts, Okay, 2005 till July 2014, the number in such accounts, the growth to 25 to 54 crore after the launch of the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. The number of the BSBD accounts rose rapidly, 51.50 crore by December 2016, and which 26.20 crore were accounts were opened for the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. Okay, representing more than half of the total gender issue, the financial inclusion. As the March 2014, women constituted about 28% of all saving accounts, which 33.69 crore accounts as of March 2017, according to data from the top 40 banks and RRB is women from top 40 banks and RRB women share the risen about to total risen to about 40%. This includes 14.49 crore accounts opened हुआ है 14.49 crore account opened हुआ है by women under Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. Out of it total 43.65 crore women accounts open saving accounts. This represents the sizable and rapid growth of financial inclusion of women. Okay, effective financial inclusion. Effective financial inclusion should be effective financial inclusion should be reflected not only in terms of access, but in the use of financial services in terms of deposit, mobilization. The average balance account opened under the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana has registered steady growth from 1.065 permanent FAR account in March 2015-16 to USD 2.323 in March 2017. Status of zero balance account. Zero balance accounts under Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana has declined consistently 58% from nearly in March 2015 and around 25% of December 2016. Other enabled payments, the principal made of transaction of banking correspondent outlets have also witnessed a rapid growth from 0.3 crore per month in August 2015 to 2.3 in 2016 and 6 crore in May 2017. As a result of expansion and strengthening the interoperability, the share of transaction performed by customers of one bank at the BC outset offender of another bank offers transaction has acceleration growing steadily from the less than 1% of all transactions at VC outlets the April 2016 to nearly 17% in May 17. Rural accounts under the PM Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana has grown 8.0 crore in August, 14 crore August 2016 and 17.2 crore in May. The growth in transaction is at the rate much faster than the rate of growth of the rural account base. Thus, use of accountism terms of both deposits and transaction through basic outlets has registered impressive growth, which has positive consequences. Okay. Further, ability of the content growth. Okay. Next, हम देखेंगे price and inflation. Price and influence में salient features देखेंगे. Of the salient features, new series of the wholesale price indices. Salient features of the new series of the wholesale price indices based 2011-12, namely agriculture, mining, manufacturing, electricity. यहाँ पर देखेंगे government rate. Okay, 2017 wholesale April, from April 2017. Okay, government revised the year of wholesale price index from 4 to 5 and 2011-12 from April 2017. WPI inflation measures average changes of the rates, price, commodities of the bank sale, the level of early stage of transaction pertaining to four sectors, namely agriculture, mining, manufacturing, and electricity. The share of the share of these four sectors in GDP at current price was 41.4% to the 11-12. The basket of the WPI covers commodities failing under the three major groups, namely primary agriculture, primary articles, fuels and power, manufactured products. Okay, the prices tracked are forest factory prices for manufactured products, mandi prices for agricultural commodities, and X means prices. Okay, for weight given to each commodity. Okay, covered in WPI basket is based on the value of production adjusted for the net imports. WPI basket does not cover the services. In the new WPI series 2012 significant improvement in terms of consumer coverage methodologies has been made. The item basket has been revised with inclusion of new items and exclusion of the old ones in order to capture structural changes that have occurred in the economy. In the updated WPI basket, the number of items has been increased and special efforts have been made, and the number of price quantities quotation across the major groups, comprehensive coverage and representativeness. In the new WPI series, the following key conceptual and methodological changes has been made. Okay, efforts of content to impression, made prices used for compliance do not include indirect taxes in order to resolve in order to remove the impact of fiscal policy. This is in consonance with the best international practice and makes the new WPI conceptually closer the producer price index. This would also not require changes in the price collection. Okay, once the GST is implemented, the new series has the provision to compile WPI food index. This index is compiled by combining indices of food articles and manufacturing food products. This is along the CPI food products food price index published by CSO would help in monitoring the food inflation effectively. Item level aggregates for new WPI and compiled generic geometric mean in international best practice and currently used the compilation of age AII India CPI All India Index India CPI geometric mean is considered to be the robust as the process most of the axionate metric test as such as time reversal test etc. The change and the charge is likely to minimize base biases in the series. Seasonally, the fruits and vegetables being updated to account for more months, as these are now available. Longer duration, larger number of fruits and vegetables been added to the basket ensure greater representation of these items. A high level of technical review committee has been set up first time. Okay, changing structural economy. Efforts of the content inflation. Government review the price situation regular. A number of measures taken, whether the steps taken, whether increased allocation of price stabilization fund increase 2017-18 budget to check volatility of price and of essential commodities, in particular of pulses. The government has approved certain of a creation of a dynamic buffer up to 20 lakh tons of pulses and appropriate market intervention against with buffer of around 18.75 lakh tons already been built. Subsidized unlimited unmilled pulses from buffer stock were offered to states agencies for direct distribution of public and at a reasonable rate. States and union territories have been empowered to impose stock limits in respect to pulses, onion, edible oils. Edible oil sits under the Essential Commodities Act. Export of all pulses is banned. Export except Kabuli chana and up to 10,000 MT organic pulses. Okay. Import duty 10% has been imposed. Okay. SEBI banned new contracts in China to dampen speculative activities and announced higher support prices, incentivized for the product everyday food items which help modernize prices. Export of edible oils allowed only in branded consumer packs up to 5 kg with a minimum minimum export price. Okay, 900 MT per MT of the MT restriction has recently MEP USD 360 was imposed total December 2016. Reduced import duty borders with 20% duty. Export sugar stock holding and non turnover limit to the sugar. Okay, so speculative. So import of the 5,000 टन. So देख लिया आपने डेटा है यहाँ पर, तो आपने यहाँ पर कंप्लीट कर लिया है. ओके, तो यहाँ से हम स्टार्ट करेंगे नेक्स्ट टाइम में. ठीक है, थैंक यू फ्रेंड्स.